You're watching Guude. You're watching Guude. Fighting just to save our lives. Got you laughing every night.
Welcome back, everybody.
Welcome back. Hey, so I pulled like the ultimate Guude.
Oh, what does
the
that
other day.
mean?
So you will know what that means when I get there to the end.
Okay, I'm excited.
Well, no, it's actually, I think you might be proud. You might be a proud dude. I'm not really sure. So at the fire department, one of the responsibilities and roles I have is like, so for one, when we get done with every call, you have to do a report on the call. And the annoying thing is you have to do this report in this other computer system. Even if it's like an EMS call and you have to write an actual EMS report, you still have to write this other report as well in this other computer system that you can only access from the station. So it's kind of annoying in the aspect of it's like redundant crap that you have to do.
Yeah.
But either it has to be done. And for a couple of years, I have been tasked with being one of the people at the station who I do what's called the overdue reports list. So I run this list of all the reports that did not get done. So there's basically a call, but there's not the completed report. And I compare that against our book that you have to fill out of who was responsible for that report and who didn't do the report that they're supposed to do.
Okay.
And it's really funny because it really is a book. There is still, quote unquote, a legal document as written by policy for our fire corporation through Montgomery County, Maryland. The legal document is writing each call in this book log, even though it's a whole electronic system with its own reporting system and all. The legal source of truth is still this written logbook.
Okay.
It's the dumbest thing in the world. It's terrible and stupid, but whatever. So either way, when I'm doing this overdue report list, the only reason I can know who it is that is responsible for a report that didn't get done is because I look in the logbook and, for one, look at the entry that somebody was supposed to make when they got back to the station for that call and who was responsible for it, written down in this book. Or if somebody didn't write down the call, I look at the official log because it's still a written log of sign in and sign out stuff. That's, like I said, the legal source of truth, according to the way the policies are written, of who was writing the position that theoretically should have been responsible for that call. So people are really bad about writing in the book all the calls when they come back from a call because, for one, we live in a culture where I shouldn't have to do all this manual work, and for two, people are lazy.
Well, it seems kind of stupid to have to write the shit in a book anyways.
It's absolutely stupid. However, it is still the official policy and the official like what is supposed to be done. So from my perspective, I get this report from the computer that says these are all the calls that went out and the reports that have not been completed. So then I have to compare this against something to know who is supposed to be responsible for this so I can create the overdue reports list. And I've been doing this list for a couple of years now.
Is there people that are always like this guy that always fucking never puts the shit?
Absolutely. There's like one guy who rides the most. He rides like 3 or 4 shifts a week as an officer, and it's always the officers who are responsible for the reports. And he never does his reports on time. He always waits like 2 or 3 weeks to do his reports, so his name's always on the list like 15 or 16 times every week or 2 weeks when I get the report done. So the fire chief always gets mad at him, and he only gets mad at him because the county comes down on why are there so many overdue reports from the station type of deal. It's like I said, it's a very dumb system. But either way, so I did the overdue reports list on last night, Monday night, and I hadn't done it in a couple of weeks because I'd been busy when I was there, just never got around to it. So it's been about a month since I did the overdue reports list. And of course, the same guy is on the overdue reports list like 15 times. He knows he's going to be on there. He'll eventually get his reports done. But there's a couple people who are on this list who aren't usually on it. They're usually pretty good about doing their reports. Now, the other problem with the overdue reports list is if somebody writes into the book incorrectly who was supposed to be responsible for that report, because sometimes you'll have the probationary members like be responsible for the book and they'll write down who they thought was the officer of the unit, but they'll be wrong. It happens all the time. It's amazing how often it happens because, for one, it's a confusing system. And when you have like a 18-year-old kid who's new to the fire department, they look at, especially like they'll look at me as the shift officer and assume that I'm responsible for any time the engine goes out. Even if I'm driving that day, I'm not the officer of the unit, but they'll write my name next to it a lot because they're like, oh, that's my shift officer. He's on the engine. He's obviously responsible for the engine reports. And really, it's the officer of the unit. So it happens all the time. So this one guy, he's a cocky son of a bitch, but he's a good guy. I get along with him, but he always thinks he is better than everybody, and always like, if you make a mistake, he will call you out on that mistake, basically like he's never made a mistake in his life.
Okay.
I put his name on the reports list yesterday because he had a report that, according to the book, he was the officer of the unit. He is an engine officer. He usually drives, but he also rides as the officer. His name was next to it in this report book. And so I put his name on it because, as far as I know, it wasn't a day that I ride. I have no idea like what you did on a day that I wasn't there. So I just my basis is I put it on there. So I put his name on it, send the report list out. There's like 50 reports due. He's one of the reports. He immediately emails me and says, "Yo, blah 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 street." He just give me the name of the street the call was on. He's like, "It wasn't me. I wasn't in the seat. I was driving. It was this person." So I just wrote him back and I said, "Look." I said, all I do, I've told you this before, all I do is go by what the book says. Your name's on it in the book. Your name's on it in the report list until that report gets done. He writes me back this long email, like bitching at me about how that's bullshit. He's not going to be responsible for doing this report. And just going on and on about like how it's bullshit.
Wouldn't it have been faster just to do the report than write this long ass email?
Well, it could have been, or just to talk to your officer and say, "Hey, this is your report," or just change it in the book next time you're on shift. Just cross out your name and write the actual officer's name on it because that happens all the time. People make a mistake in the book, cross it out, initial it, write the real person's name on it. Everybody on my shift was giving me it was like, "Oh my god, quit encouraging him, quit egging him on," because I was cracking up when I was reading these emails. His email as it was coming in real time, like the first one, I was just like, like he's already all upset, and I was like, Gary, quick, tell him, I basically don't care if your name was on the book, do it up. And then he just went on with this bitching email complaining, and I was cracking up while I was reading it. And you know what my response back to that was?
What?
Remember, I pulled a Guude.
Okay. I don't know what this means, though. I don't know what this means.
All I said to him was,
"Okay,
cool story, bro."
Oh, cool story, bro. What did he say to that?
I never felt so proud in my life.
What did he say?
He didn't respond. Did not respond. I guarantee I was waiting for my phone to blow up because this guy, he's like he's early 20s. Like I said, very cocky individual. Like I've talked to him multiple times. I guarantee he was fuming when he saw this thing. He was probably just trying to figure out how not to, because I outrank him at the fire department too. So you can't really step up to an officer that outranks you. It's it's not. It's a paramilitary organization. Rank means something in the fire department. So if he was like stepping up to me in any other way, that's it can get him in a lot of trouble, essentially, just because that's the way that the rankings work. I guarantee he was fuming so hardcore, and I guarantee he probably, because he's on shift tonight, I guarantee he just did that report himself.
You think he actually did it, or he did the whole right?
I'll have to find out when I'm there next week. I have no idea, but I just remember sitting there trying to think, what can I respond that's going to show him that I don't give a fuck what he keeps responding back to me, like what excuse he's making.
That's a very good response.
And I was just like, oh man, I remember that story that Guude told that one time about that dude. And I don't even remember what your story was.
I don't either. I'm trying to remember when I've used this line.
It was some tech support story when you were doing tech support at your house, and one guy was going insane, and he just kept going crazy on you, and you finally got fed up with it and just wrote him back and said, "Cool story, bro." And that was his
I told a guy to suck my dick one time as a customer support as well. That didn't go well. That was also when I ran my own business.
Did he just use his teeth or something, or?
I don't even remember what happened after that. I'm pretty sure he canceled his account, which was preferable.
So you can't say it didn't go well.
Yeah.
Got exactly what you wanted out of it.
Back when I did that, people didn't realize that they were paying, like, most of the customers were just like standard hosting customers, so they were paying $10 a month. And there's a limit on what that $10 gets you.
$10 a month. And how much could they host?
I don't remember now. I mean, this was back in the early days of hosting, so it wasn't a ton. I think it was like 500 megs or something like that. It wasn't a lot. There was a bandwidth limit even. So yeah, but it was those pre-built websites that I was selling. So a lot of times they were asking questions about that type of stuff. But I don't remember what this guy was on about. But he'd been back and forth, and finally I was just like, you're not worth my $10. Your $10 is not paying for me to deal with this amount of heartache. I started another cobble chest down at the very end of everything, by the way.
Yeah, I definitely used it. Okay. Yeah, I always wonder because it's funny, I still have hosting. Excuse me. And remember when we did maps together that I would host, even though they would get laggy as hell? I still own 3 hosting servers through this company. I mean, they're shared servers, but because they were so ridiculously cheap, and I'm not even talking $10 a month, I'm talking like $30 for 3 years.
I remember, yeah.
That these things are, and I still host, random stuff on that, but I don't think I could ever host a website on that. It's so unreliable to host anything actually important.
It'd be down half the time.
Oh god, it would be down, and like my servers, like the thing I dislike about this company is because it's and granted, I'm probably definitely not worth their time, which I'm surprised they've let me stick around for so long with some of the tickets that I've opened up with them, but they've shut me down on multiple occasions and just basically canceled my service for violating the terms of service because they said I was trying to use these servers as like hosting viruses and hosting, propagating worms and things like that, because out of nowhere my bandwidth would shoot up from, essentially 0 megs a month to 5 terabytes in a day. And my servers would actually be completely shut down. Like even during the time frame, they even have logs that show that my servers haven't been online in 4 weeks, but they would still blame me for it because it came from my IP address somehow. Basically, their security was terrible, and they kept getting their IP addresses utilized, and other people on the hosting service were getting shit wrong. So I somehow got it reversed every time after a big fight because of the fact I think it was pretty easy to prove that it wasn't me. I'm surprised they didn't just be like, fuck you, we're canceling your account.
Right, we're done with you.
Because they don't even offer this stuff anymore. Now that I get emails from this company all the time when they're offering their sales, and their sales are for basically what I have now for $5 a month.
Huh. Wow.
And I'm paying like $30 for 3 years.
I'm surprised they haven't gone through and gotten rid of all of those accounts, honestly.
I'm absolutely surprised. I just don't think they want to probably, because I think the company's been bought out by like 5 different solutions at this point.
Yeah.
I just don't think they want to go through the hassle of dealing with it. And I'm really not what you call a power user. It's not like I'm abusing their system. I run a Minecraft server on it, and most of the time my shit is my servers are offline because I don't host maps very often. So I think they look at me as probably like, besides when they get these decisions that I'm all of a sudden using terabytes of their bandwidth a month, which is completely untrue, they realize that I very rarely am using the service. Not worth the fight.
Yeah, I don't know how companies can stay in business with some of those things that they give out and afford to pay their employees to deal with the customers for what they're paying, basically.
Well, I mean, it could be a mom and pop shop just like you had running that, there is no employees to pay, and 9 out of 12 months, there's absolutely zero issues I have with my account, and it's literally just a couple dollars that you're making for doing nothing.
That's true.
Yeah, I don't know how many customers did you guys have at a
at our peak? We had over 1,000. I don't remember that.
And it was just you and the wife running this place.
Yeah. And all she did was the billing stuff. She didn't actually interact with customers, so I just don't.
But think if they were even paying $5 a month, that's $1,000 or $5,000
Right.
a month that you're making at your peak time for probably for the most part not doing much for that like 990 of those customers.
Yeah. I mean, for the most part, it wasn't bad. But there were days. I think what it became is I just became overwhelmed with. It was like probably the same the people that deal with post office work go through, where it's never ending. Every day I wake up and there's new tickets and there's new people wanting to ask stupid questions, and eventually I'm just like, I don't want to talk to any of you ever again. I don't care how much you're paying.
Oh, I will tell you, I don't know why lately, but I think people are getting dumber when they're asking for help, because I have gotten so many emails from people saying at my work saying, Jeff, I'm having a problem with, what they'll call our electronic health record application. Can you help? And my response to them is, what problem are you having? I have to ask. I don't know why you feel even telling me that you're having a problem when you don't tell me anything about the problem is acceptable by any stretch of the imagination. But there's been such an influx of that over the past month, even to the point where when I told somebody, I was like, what problem are you having? And their response was, I can't describe it, call me.
Well, how the fuck did they describe it when you called them?
I don't know. You can't describe it by an email. For one, the nice thing about email is you can give me a screenshot via email. And most of these people know how to do screenshots because we've really put out a lot of information on how to do screenshots, because sometimes a picture's worth 1,000 words, So these are coming from people that I know have sent me screenshots in the past, and I know have the ability to do that. But they somehow can't articulate themselves at all, even when prodded to articulate themselves on something. And I don't know what's going on with people's minds. And it's even like the ones that drive me even more insane, I think, are because sometimes I will actually get a hold of somebody and I'll call them and be like, okay, what's going on? And they'll say something and I'll be like, you know what? I would not have any idea how to describe that either. Let me just come into your unit and see it, because there's something really messed up going on. So that does happen, where they were basically absolutely right, but I don't realize that they're right until I, can go watch it in action. But a lot of times I either call them finally. I can't say finally because it's not like I put it off, but I'll call them and I'll get blah, blah, blah. Somebody else help me fix it. Sorry.
Aren't you not tech support anyways?
I'm not. But the nurses do not understand the difference between IT and nursing informatics. And I have come to grips with that. I have understood the fact that I am their liaison to people that really need to help them. And 90% of the problems that I solve for people are just guiding them to the people who are supposed to solve their problems.
That's funny.
Yeah, I have definitely come to grips with that. We actually have been interviewing. We have another position open in my department, and one of the things I keep telling people when they hire, because we'll have a lot of new informaticists who haven't officially worked as an informaticist before that we're getting through. And I was like, just so you know, they'll be like, what is a typical day like for your in your department? And I'll say, just so you know, you will lose the face of being nursing informatics to people. You gain the face of being IT and tech support to people. Whether it's a problem that you can fix or not, people will constantly ask you about their broken keyboard or their broken mouse, even though that has nothing to do with what we do. I said you have to just accept the fact that you become a liaison to IT, which is kind of accurate in what we should be doing, but I mean, people really don't understand. Yeah, just like you said, it is not at all what we do, but everybody thinks that's exactly what we do.
I just know you've bitched to me enough about it that I don't know. I was kind of surprised to hear you saying that you basically do a tech support. It's like job.
And then it comes to a real problem, because when somebody has a clinical issue, it's sometimes hard for them to differentiate if it's a clinical issue or if it's an application issue. So it really does cross this gray area on whose area is this actually to resolve, and I often have to make that call. So I get it, and that's why I said I've accepted it and moved on with life, because I get it from the nurse's perspective. They don't necessarily know who is responsible for what types of issues, but in my opinion, some are way more obvious than others. But we've just accepted the fact that if you call me and tell me your mouse is broken, I will get you to the right IT person that can get you a new mouse.
Your Amazon
But
thing,
you need
you
to
said they
give me
decided.
information. At least those people tell me, Jeff, my mouse is broken. Can you help me? I know exactly how to respond to that email. Not, Jeff, I'm having a problem. Help me. Well, what the fuck is your problem? Or I can't help you.
Your Amazon thing, they did finally give that refund, right? I'm trying to remember.
Yes, they did. Thank God, because they, like I said, they originally denied it, but
Yeah.
and they go, why do you have an issue you need?
No,
to
no,
resolve?
I don't have it. I've never had an Amazon issue actually that I can think of. I did order something and I only got I ordered this carpet cleaning thing, and I also ordered 2 bottles of cleaning fluid to go in it, and I only got one. And the hassle of trying to figure out how to.
Oh no! I was just fighting 2 random skeletons and didn't think about the fact that I do not have my shield anymore because I died and lost all my stuff and I'm on my backup gear. So I was like right clicking, thinking I'm blocking, and like, why am I getting hit through my shield? Oh, I don't even have a shield.
But yeah, basically, I just gave up. I didn't. It seemed too hard to figure out how to, because it was like either return the item. Like I couldn't figure out a way to just basically tell them.
It is so buried to get to anything on Amazon anymore. Like there's not an easy way to get to customer support and chat or a number to call. There's not an easy way. And if you look up anything on what do I do if I get a package stolen, the first thing people say is get on an Amazon chat. It is so freaking hard to find out how to do an Amazon chat anymore.
Yeah, I couldn't figure out a way to like basically resolve it, and I just decided I didn't care enough.
Dude, this is a slime chunk. This big ass slime just spawned right in front of me.
Yeah, I've had that happen. Yeah,
they jumped down a hole.
I'm assuming they won't spawn on farmlands. I guess it's fine, but yeah, I've had a few slimes in my face.
Oh man, there's so many. Luckily, I left a lot of blocks lying on the ground because there's no good way up here without a.
So did y'all decide to do a Halloween party?
I don't know yet. So Julia's very determined to throw a party for me for my birthday, even though my birthday has already, come and gone at this point a couple days ago. She really wanted to throw one on my birthday, but she was flying out of town at like 6 p.m. to go to this conference. And she was like, oh, so do an afternoon birthday. And I'm like, I really don't need to do one of those. And now she's determined to have one this weekend. And I'm saying, I don't want to have one this weekend because next week on Wednesday, I have to fly out to Alabama and deliver my DNP presentation to like finalize my degree. It's like the culmination of my degree. And I was like, I'd rather just focus on making sure that presentation is all up to date and ready to go. But she's determined to have one this weekend, and I'm trying to tell her, let's just have a freaking party over Halloween when I'm done with everything, so I can relax and enjoy it. But I don't know why she's so determined.
She's a very stubborn person.
I mean, how dare you say that about my wife?
Oh, yeah, it's defend her.
So I'm hoping to have a Halloween party as opposed to a party this weekend because I really do not want to have a party this weekend. This weekend I want to do what I want to do, make sure I'm finalized and ready to go for next week. And after next week, then you can throw whatever freaking parties you want because I'll be done.
Also, whenever you were talking about her being determined to do this, I was having flashbacks of let's go to a strip club.
I think she was just trying to make sure everybody liked her and she fit in, and she didn't realize how crazy person she made herself.
It was fantastic.
And somehow we ended up at some Russian tea house.
Yeah, that was the weirdest place I've ever drank at in my life.
I don't think I've ever seen or heard of that place since. Like, I think it's one of those places that literally existed or vanished out of thin air for us and then disappeared.
It only existed in that time and place.
Because, like, I mean, how would you not hear about the random bar that's like a Russian tea house?
Yeah. And like during the day, it looked like during the day, that's what it was. It was like a place for little girls to go. And then at night it transformed. And like, what the fuck were they playing on the TVs? It was like,
it was the weirdest experience I've ever had. And I don't even remember what kind of drinks they had there, but it was.
Yeah, I don't remember what we drank at all. It wasn't Russian tea though.
How did we even find that place? Was it like we walked around the corner and the guy who sells like genie lamps told us about this place he had heard of?
Yeah, I don't remember how we ended up in there either. It was after we didn't go to a strip club. That's all I really remember.
It was the weirdest place ever. Well, and I liked them anyway. You probably would have rather gone to a strip club. But
no,
I guess it was entertaining because it was so weird and different.
Yeah, no, I enjoyed that place.
In my opinion, there's nothing wrong with a good strip club, though. So.
I've never
Especially
been
the
to a
ones that
strip
have the
club.
$9.99
so-
steak dinner. I don't know how you in your life you've never been to a strip club.
It doesn't appeal to me. The whole thought.
Well, I
behind
get
it.
that, but just from the experience of, I've been to so many strip clubs in downtown Flint, Michigan, that it's just like I want to go to more just because I want to see how different they all are. Not because I'm really interested in like the strippers and what happens, but they're such weird, interesting places.
It just feels like, I don't know. It feels like you're almost like abusing yourself to even be there.
Oh, you really are paying money to get yourself like blue balls, essentially.
Yeah.
Or you pay more money to get those blue balls, but you don't know what else you walk out there with.
Yeah. I don't think I ever go to a strip club. I can't see myself ever going to a strip club. I'm fine with this.
I just think it's one of those things you have to experience at least once.
So how's
in
the
every
steak
city.
dinners there? Like you said,
I've never actually had the steak dinner, but I did partake in one of the strip clubs that had this random free buffet.
Yeah, I've heard they have buffets. That seems like the last fucking place I want to eat a buffet.
And this one was funny because it was the first strip club I ever went to in DC. And granted, I've only been to like 2 in DC. I've only been twice to strip clubs in DC, I should say. It's not like I've only been to 2 and I go to them all the time. Like,
every weekend.
Very rarely in DC. But this place was my nursing school colleagues took me there when I was in nursing school for my birthday. They were like, Jeff, let's go. We're taking you to the strip club. There was one down the street from Georgetown. Like you could walk to it from my house. So they took me there, and it was me and a bunch of girls that went into the strip club. And they randomly had this buffet set up in the back that had like a veggie platter with like the broccoli and the carrots and the celery and the ranch dip, and they had like deviled eggs or something, and like these little ham chunklets that you could put on like crackers. It was the weirdest spread in the world, and it was literally just like there at the strip club. It was I'm getting a plate of food. Look, there's naked people.
That's so fucking weird.
And the girls were going to the bathroom, and apparently the bathroom, like the ladies' bathroom, was the shared strippers like changing room. So my friend came out and she's like, "Oh, I just had a conversation with Candy or whatever the hell her name is. You're getting ready for her next show or next act."
That's so fucking weird. Was there anything on the? Because I mean, you basically just described finger food. That's not meal food.
It was finger. This was just a finger food buffet. There wasn't like sandwiches or anything like that. But there was enough finger foods to make a meal out of. It's not like it was
Were there people were people chowing down, or was it?
There was a couple people chowing down, sure.
Wow.
I just remember this place being weird because I'd only been to strip clubs in Michigan and Ontario before this. And in Michigan, there's a rule where you have to, if you serve alcohol, you can only be topless. You can't be fully nude.
Okay.
So if you don't serve alcohol, you only have fully nude places. So like Deja Vu is a fully nude strip club, but they don't serve alcohol. And part of the great things in Michigan about the strip clubs, especially in Flint, is some of the strip clubs have the best beer prices. Like it'll be like $2 pitchers at this strip club. But
that's what I was about to ask. Is it like a casino where the alcohol gets super cheap?
Well, but then you come out to DC and it's like free admission, but every bottle of beer costs you $8. Everybody's naked. They're on stages, and you literally, the way you pay the strippers or go see the strippers dance, like otherwise than from your seat, you go up there and you stand in front of the stage, and there's a bouncer who like stands next to you and watches you. And you're not allowed to do anything except stand there. And after about 15 seconds, he's like, "Okay, next." And that's your sign to deliver the money from your hand onto the stage and walk away.
Wow. I thought you put the money in the G-string.
Not in DC, you don't. Not at last strip club in DC, you don't at least.
Huh. Wow.
Yeah. Whereas in Flint, you literally roll up a dollar bill, put it on stage, and the girl comes and gets it from you in whatever way that they're going to come get it from you.
Huh. That seems like it's probably more lucrative for them as well.
In DC or in Flint?
In Flint. I mean, it's probably better for the strippers in
I don't know.
DC.
People in DC probably have more money, so they're spend more money without.
That's true.
Whereas in Flint, people are like, give me your $5 because this is what's going to feed my family for the next 2 weeks because Flint is a broke down,
The strip club offers fresh water.
Yeah, the strip club's the only place you can get lead-free water.
Well, I think that's a good stopping point. Thanks for watching, everybody.
All right, guys. Thanks for watching. See you next time.